Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I am Deepika Mehto. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Full-fledged election campaigning picks up pace with the announcement of dates for general elections in India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says BJP, NDA fully prepared for the festival of democracy. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh praises Indian Navy as they successfully rescued members from a hijacked ship. The Navy captures MV Ruin off the Indian coast. Russia's presidential vote starts final day with accusations of Kyiv sabotage. As the final day progresses, chances of Putin's fifth term increases sharply, followed by a fair voter turnout rate as well. And in a first, Royal Challengers Bangalore enter Women's Premier League Grand Finale. RCB all set to take on Delhi Capitals at New Delhi's Arun Jaitley Stadium today evening. So dates for general elections have been announced in India in 7 phases, starting the 19th of April. The Election Commission is prepared to crack down on muscle power, money, misinformation and MCC violations as well. The 4M formula is the way in which the Election Commission plans to hold free and fair elections in this great Indian elections of 2024.
Muscle power, money, misinformation and MCC violations will not be allowed and stopped at all cost in this great Indian election. The Election Commission, during the announcement of poll dates for the general elections, warned against the use of muscle power in the upcoming general elections.
Mainly 4 challenges हमारे पास हैं, 4 M's: muscle, money, misinformation and MCC violations. तो Election Commission का अधिकांश समय इन्हीं 4 चीजों में लगने वाला है कि हाउ टू कंट्रोल मसल पावर, हाउ टू कंट्रोल मनी पावर, हाउ टू कंट्रोल द menace of misinformation and how to control the violations which are done.
Stressing on the MCC's importance, the Chief Election Commissioner stressed that campaigns should be based on issues and devoid of hate speech and appeals that lean on caste and religion.
My appeal to the political parties again. We are very committed for ethical political discourse. I would like parties to again appeal that please maintain decorum in campaigning and refrain from abuses and personal attacks. That in this digital world, so please avoid creating digital memory of bad words which are coming from your mouth.
Money power has been another daunting task before the Election Commission. The last 11 assembly elections have seen 3,400 crores in cash seized, which is an 835% increase from 2017-18.
National NPCIL will look at if there is a spurt in demand for the payments from the wallets. Cash or money, जो भी धन बल का दुरुपयोग करना चाहेंगे. Political finance, in any case, is a thing which is in news these days. So this is our effort to add to that thing so that there are much more cleaner elections.
The CEC has adopted the fourfold approach to ensure free and fair elections. The Election Commission of India is committed and has put in place measures to deal with these disruptive challenges to make the great Indian election process one that is like a pole star for other nations to follow and emulate. Anil Thomas for DD India, New Delhi.
So with the announcement of the general election schedule by the Election Commission of India, the Model Code of Conduct has now come into effect. The code plays a crucial role in ensuring free and fair polls for India. Our next report tells you more about it. Take a look.
In order to ensure free and fair elections, it is imperative that a set of guidelines to regulate the candidates and political parties is put in place. In India, these norms are called the Model Code of Conduct or the MCC. These guidelines are issued and enforced by the Election Commission of India. To put it simply, MCC is a list of do's and don'ts for the candidates, which they are expected to follow during the election process. It comes into effect from the day the Election Commission of India announces the poll schedule and is operational till the elections are concluded. During the general elections, the code is applicable throughout India. Let's now take a quick look at the key MCC guidelines. The ruling party should not use its official position for campaigning purposes. Parties and candidates should abstain from activities and delivering speeches that may create communal hatred. They should refrain from corrupt practices like bribing, intimidating and transporting voters. The Election Commission of India sends a show-cause notice to candidates if they violate the code. The poll body goes ahead with the necessary proceedings if the candidate fails to reply within the specified time frame. Citizens can also report violations of the Model Code of Conduct by the candidates. To make this process easier, the ECI launched the C-Vigil app in 2018. A person can simply click a picture or take a video and briefly describe the complaint before uploading it on the app. The complainant also has the option to remain anonymous. The C-Vigil app is also a reflection of how the MCC has evolved over the times. The MCC guidelines trace their origins to 7 decades back when in 1960, the political parties in Kerala adopted a code during the state polls. With the enforcement of the Model Code of Conduct, the Election Commission of India has been ensuring a level playing field for smaller parties and independent candidates by helping to keep money and muscle power in check. Bureau Report, DD India.
And now to get you more on the polling pulse, we have with us Yogesh Sheetal from Mumbai, Anbar Sinilango from Chennai, Kamal Pohra from Guwahati. A very good evening to all our DD India correspondents. First of all, Yogesh, coming on to you when we talk about Maharashtra and the elections. Coming up with the recent tweet of BJP and NDA, Prime Minister Narendra Modi have said that he is set for the biggest festival of democracy. Now, what is the mood there in Maharashtra?
Let you know the exact details. There are 5 phases where elections in Maharashtra is going to be held. The first is on 19th, second is 26th, these are in April, and then later on 7th, 13th and 20th. These are 3 in May. So total 5 phases in the election will be held in Maharashtra. In the first phase, there will be 5 seats, and then there will be 8 seats and 11 seats in the 3/4 phase, and the last phase there are 20 seats. So overall 48 seats will be contested in these 5 phases. Now coming to your question, see, my second part, what I was about to say is the politics in Maharashtra as well as the issues, and the third I'll come up to the voter turnout. See, as far as tweet is concerned, let me tell you that in Maharashtra, especially because Maharashtra is going to play a very crucial role in these elections, because the commitment we had seen from different political parties, especially when we talk about that 40 plus commitment of the NDA, BJP, Narendra Modi in particular. So what we have been witnessing here, a number of projects, number of infrastructure projects from Atal Setu to Samriddhi Mahamarg, a number of metro rail projects, apart from that very industrial projects also. So definitely the BJP is a bit confident here in Maharashtra, especially in rural Maharashtra, because of the schemes that have been launched by the central government, whether it is Ujjwala or PM Garib Kalyan Yojana, and number of schemes, even Vishwakarma Yojana, and a lot of schemes. Recently PM also visited Yavatmal, and the Home Minister visited Jalgaon there. He has visited the young voters. So the basically coming to the crux, that the BJP and the NDA is trying their best to ensure that all sections of voters are properly addressed. Now, the third point also I'd come, definitely the most important aspect is voter turnout, because in this election there are 10 lakh around new voters. Already there are 9.12 crore voters in Maharashtra, and 10 lakh voters are the new voters. They will cast their vote for the first time in Maharashtra. So in addressing to their issues, all the parties, including the NCP, the splitted NCP and Shiv Sena, all the parties are trying their best to woo the voters, especially young voters as well as women, because women are going to be outnumbered the voters in terms of the candidature on the basis of gender. So this election will definitely bring a big picture in terms of various issues and various level of politics in Maharashtra, because this is the first time that Shiv Sena, undivided Shiv Sena we had seen recently, but now the Shiv Sena and NCP, both parties have split, coming a bit political aspect of the Maharashtra politics, as well as in terms of the upcoming elections, what are the possibilities. So here in Maharashtra, we know that BJP has released the second seats where 20 candidates have been just named as of now. More candidates are likely to be named in the list that is likely to appear anytime, because today is very important. The meeting is going to be held in Delhi. The state BJP chief, the top leaders have already arrested their Delhi, and we can expect the third list tonight or tomorrow. So these are the very important developments in Maharashtra as far as upcoming elections is concerned. Yeah, Deepika, over to you.
And when we talk about Operation Lotus there in Maharashtra, Yogesh, can we expect more number of voters this time when we talk about the polling days?
Definitely. Why? The reason behind is that even UGC had sent recently, UGC had sent a message, basically email to all the top universities, Mumbai University and also in Pune University, even to all pockets of Maharashtra, to ensure that the youths are, youths are addressed, their concerns are addressed, as well as Election Commission of India is parallelly running various campaigns where we have seen jingles and the pamphlets, their social media platforms, because social media is the main tool. We have seen the artificial intelligence, the era, the new era we are in. So also various methods they are approaching the youngsters. And also when we talk about Maharashtra, especially in Mumbai, the city, there are 6 constituencies. In city, youngsters, basically the college students, whether it is from VJTI or Sardar Patel College or various colleges under Mumbai University. So the students have always been very proactive in the various campaigns, in the various protests also we had seen recently. It's not that violent sort of protest, but yes, as far as campaigning, whether it is social media campaigning or other kind of campaignings, we have seen the youth, basically girls also, they have always been very active. So we can expect, and talking about the figures, the voter turnout recently was 64% around, and the voter turnout coming to Maharashtra, the voter turnout has always been good. We can see the around 65% voter turnout have been recorded in Maharashtra in terms of the assembly election as well as the parliamentary elections. So the election commission doesn't need to take that Herculean task to convince the voters, but recently what we had seen, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, the CEC, also carried out a campaign in Pune. Cycle Yatra was there, the cycle marathon, you can say, was there. So in various pockets, just like similar activities have been carried away. So we can say that all the agencies which are responsible to ensure that the voter turnout is good, they are always on their foot, and we can expect good results at this election also.
Right. We also have Anbarsan Ilanku with us from Chennai. And Anbarsan, we've seen of late that many rallies there in southern part of India are being saffronized. But can we see the positive outcome of the ruling party when we come to voting days, when we come to their campaigning, or there are certain issues still in place for the ruling party and the opposition looks stronger? What is the mood there, Anbarsan?
As we said, in upcoming Lok Sabha election, the first phase has been in Tamil Nadu. April 19, there is a first election. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting tomorrow also. And last 3 months, the Prime Minister visited Tamil Nadu in various occasions and in political rally. And in that, the Prime Minister has continuously said that the ruling party, DMK, has accused on the dynasty one and also the drug-related issues and the administrative level. Whatever the welfare scheme has been sent to the Tamil Nadu, it has been not delivered properly. And also the election, the DMK, ADMK and BJP, it's a multi-corner fight in the Tamil Nadu. After the 2014 and 19 election, this is a multi-corner fight, and various parties are assembled in different Kotanis in Tamil. So in DMK, it's fighting with ADMK and BJP, and the seat sharing between the DMK alliance has been finalized. Around 20 seats has been DMK is contesting, and Congress, CPIM and CPI and various regional parties are contesting in Tamil Nadu. And also in ADMK, it's talking alliance with DMDK, the regional player where the Captain Vijaykanth, who is recently died, that party, and also the PMK. And also the BJP also talking with the various parties, and the final list has been need to be released by the candidates. And Prime Minister is visiting tomorrow the Coimbatore, and also is addressing a public rally in Salem. Regarding the issues of concerning to Tamil Nadu, the recent flood and various development projects, continuously Prime Minister visited Tamil Nadu and inaugurated around 17,000 worth of projects that's been laid to the foundation and inaugurated and also dedicated to the nation. And in Tuticorin also visited and various programs Prime Minister also inaugurated. So in that, the state has actually, after 2019, it's galvanized into the multi-corner fight. ADMK is now standing alone. Before that, 2019, BJP and ADMK alliances were there. And right now, DMK and BJP and Congress and ADMK are in a different...
So development is the agenda with what the BJP and the NDA is moving forward with. We also with us Kamal Bora, who's joining us from Guwahati. Kamal, there is a very interesting stat. The voter turnout, when we talk about the previous elections of the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, was 80.86%, out of which more than 10,000 voters voted for Nota. What are the expectations this time? Can we expect more number of first-time voters as well from Guwahati, Assam?
Definitely, Deepika, I would like to say that this time we can see some more voters turnout this time, because kind of awareness campaign that has been launched by Election Commission of India across the country. Assam has also took part in this campaign quite actively, and we have seen that we have also covered various stories of students taking part in this campaign, whether it is colleges, whether it is schools. The first-time voters came forward quite enthusiastically. They sang the song and they took part all the campaign organized by district administration, state government. So from that point of view, we definitely can say that at this moment, last time it was 80%, more than 80%. This time it may touch in 90%. There is definitely a hope, and definitely government is doing every leaving no stone unturned to touch each and every voter. And definitely it's gonna be very interesting this time. The election is, and the Election Commission of India yesterday also, he was saying that every voting center would be decorated, would be added with all the facilities so that voters can be attracted. And definitely, if such measures are being taken place, definitely we can expect some more voters turnout this time.
And going back to Anbarsan, a quick question from you on the digitization part. When we talk about the Vigil app, and there are other things, and if you want to get any information regarding the elections, you can just go on the application of Election Commission of India. How do you see this progress in terms of digitalization when we talk about people's involvement?
After the MCC code has implemented, before also C-Vigil has been prioritized and advertised across Tamil Nadu. As you know that the MCC code has implemented, various action has been taken by the Election Commission of India. Particularly in Tamil Nadu, the money has been calculated by the various parties and also the individuals. Regarding that, the vigilance on particularly the money issues. The Election Commission has said that the ATM loading, that vehicle also will be not loaded in the night time, and it will be only done in the morning. So the vigilance, it also enhanced various facilities, particularly the public can give a report on that, any complaints regarding any malpractices done by the political parties or the candidate, and those kind of election rallies. These kind of issues may be reported to the C-Vigil app. So Election Commission has appointed various nodal agencies, various nodal agencies, so they can take action very frequently, and particularly local administrative, district level and panchayat level, various officials also roaming around the entire Tamil Nadu. So safeguard the malpractices has been not done. As the previously various 2019 and 14 elections, the money seizing has been reported in across, and also you can remember there is one constituency in Assembly of Madurai where the election has been stopped due to the money issue. So this time particularly, Election Commission of India has very much ensured that there is no issue regarding money seizing and practices regarding the malpractices to the election. And particularly this election, Tamil Nadu also facing on assembly election in the Kanyakumari district in Velangangur. So where particularly comparing the Lok Sabha election, the assembly level, the money issues and various small level issues has been need to be reported. So the Election Commission of India, the State Chief Election Commissioner Satyaprakash Sahu also given a various press releases and has said that the continuous vigilance regarding on the Election Commission, it should be done. Yeah,
all right. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on how are the states preparing for the upcoming elections there across India. Moving on, in a daring display of prowess, the Indian Navy executed a meticulously planned operation in the Arabian Sea, culminating in the surrender of 35 pirates and the safe rescue of 17 crew members from a distressed vessel. The operation, spearheaded by the Indian warship INS Kolkata, unfolded over 40 intense hours, showcasing Navy's unwavering commitment to maritime security and humanitarian rescue missions. The Indian warship had carried out the interception of the pirate ship Ruin, almost 2,600 kilometers from the Indian coast, and forced the pirate ship to stop through calibrated actions that were augmented by INS Subhadra, Hail RPA, PATI maritime patrol aircraft, and Marcos Prahars airdropped by C-17 aircraft. This coordinated effort ensured the swift and safe evacuation of distressed vessel crews, leaving no room for error or compromise. By swiftly neutralizing the pirate threat and ensuring the safety of those aboard the distressed vessel, the Indian Navy now reaffirms its status as a formidable guardian of the seas. Indian Army contingent departed for Seychelles to participate in the 10th edition of Joint Military Exercise L'Amitié 2024 today. The exercise to take place between the Indian Army and Seychelles Defence Forces. The joint exercise will be conducted at Seychelles from the 18th till the 27th of March. The exercise has also been conducted in Seychelles since 2001. 45 personnel, each from Gorkha Rifles of the Indian Army and Seychelles Defence Forces, will participate in this exercise. The aim of the exercise is to enhance interoperability in sub-conventional operations in semi-urban environment under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter on Peacekeeping Operations. It will also enhance cooperation and interoperability between both the sides during peacekeeping operation. It will also build and promote bilateral military relations in addition to exchanging skills, experiences and good practices between both the armies. In continuation with the centennial celebrations of Admiral R.L. Pereira, PVSM, AVSM, 1923 and 1993, the Joint Indian Navy and St. Joseph's School in Darjeeling jointly conducted commemorative events at the school campus on the 15th of March. Admiral Pereira, fondly known as Ronnie P., rose to become the 9th Chief of the Naval Staff in 1979, and he was an alumnus of the school between 1932 to 1937. The school celebrated the Admiral's memory by conducting football tournament and essay writing competition. On this occasion, the Indian Navy also instituted a rolling sports trophy and scholarship in memory of the Admiral by presenting a cheque of 2.5 lakh rupees to the school. The visiting officers and the faculty also planted a tree in memory of Admiral R.L. Pereira. Father Stanley Verghese, principal and rector of the school, felicitated the visiting naval officers as well. The three-day Russia's presidential election is concluding today, and there were 4 candidates running for Russian president in Russia's 8th presidential election. If Russian President Vladimir Putin completes a new 6-year term, he will overtake Joseph Stalin to become Russia's longest-serving leader. Here's a report.
Russia's 8th presidential election, which began on Friday, concludes on Sunday. The election result is expected to keep President Vladimir Putin in power for another 6 years. This would enable him to overtake Joseph Stalin to become Russia's longest-serving leader. Besides Russian President Vladimir Putin, the other 3 candidates in election were leader of the Liberal Democratic Party Leonid Slutsky, Vladislav Davenkov from Russia's New People Party, and Nikolai Kharitonov, the Russian Communist Party's candidate. Ukraine war has cast a shadow over voting in the election. More than 114 million Russians were eligible to vote, including what Moscow calls its new territories. Residents of the Russian-controlled parts of Ukraine too cast their ballots on Friday.
I remember it all well. All of it I remember well. It was all difficult and hard. No water, no light, no gas, no food, nothing. We have been surviving. My flat, it's a totally destroyed house. I have been living there with a housemate for 27 years. What have left of it are just walls. No roof, nothing else.
United States, United Kingdom and UN on Friday condemned Russian efforts to conduct its presidential election in occupied areas of Ukraine.
We continue to condemn the sham election in Ukraine's temporarily occupied territory for what it is, one in a pattern of failed attempts to justify the unjustifiable.
While on the other hand, Moscow accused Ukraine of using air attacks to try to sabotage the election. Besides, more than 50 United Nations member states have condemned Russian efforts to conduct its presidential election in occupied areas of Ukraine on Friday. The counting of votes begins once the election concludes. It continues until the results are finalized. The final results will be confirmed no later than March 28 by Russia's Central Election Commission and will be announced within 3 days of confirmation. Fuzail Ahmed reporting for DD India.
Dasha Chernyshova joins us from Russia. Good evening, Dasha. What is the current and the latest polling percentage that you can update us with? And when are we expecting the final results to come?
Well, up to this moment, we understand that over 65% of Russians have already had a chance to cast their ballots in the presidential election. It is the third day and the final day of this voting. This is the countrywide turnout. Remember, Russia has 11 time zones, so we are expecting the polls to close at 8 p.m. in the evening. Moscow will be one of the last time zones where the polling stations will close. The next one will be Kaliningrad, so it is by 9 p.m. Moscow time or 6 p.m. GMT that the polls will eventually close in all the polling stations across the Russian territory. Some exit polls are expected to come up shortly. The voting process will also begin at that very moment, and the first results are expected to come in the matter of hours. And obviously it is in the morning of Monday when we understand that more precise results will be available to the wider public. At the same time, we understand that there have been certain irregularities reported across the Russian Federation, but they are not expected to somehow influence the impact, the outcome of this election.
So can we say is Putin all set for his fifth term?
Well, it is indeed expected that President Vladimir Putin will secure yet another term as president of Russia, and the inauguration will be taking place later this year. That will be taking place in May. But as polls are expected to close, we understand that what worries the authorities here is the numbers. By what margin Vladimir Putin will be securing his new term, as well as how high the turnout would be, as many political scientists say. It is important for the Russian authorities to make sure that the turnout is high, because that will be sort of legitimizing the ongoing course, including the Russian stance on Ukraine. As for what the Russian president will be setting for his next term, we have heard before the address to the Federal Assembly, in which Vladimir Putin was outlining his vision for the country for the next 6 years, including the launch of several national projects that are all expected to increase the independence, the economic might of Russia, as well as to meet the social needs.
All right, thank you so much, Dasha, for filling in with that important information on Russian polls, as just few hours from now and the polling will conclude there in Russia. Now, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu ordered the Black Sea Navy on Sunday to strengthen the protection of its facilities and also conduct regular drills on how to repel attacks on its ship, the Interfax news agency confirmed. Now, video released by the Russian Defense Ministry showed Shoigu attending meetings with Navy officials, including Admiral Alexander Moiseev, Commander-in-Chief of the Russian Navy and former commander of the Black Sea Fleet. Shoigu also visited Navy's command center on Sunday. Russia's Black Sea Navy has come under frequent attacks from Ukrainian forces. We are moving for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. Second aid shipment for Gaza all set to sail from Cyprus. Another volcanic eruption in Iceland affecting 4,000 residents. Man accused of killing 3 people in Pennsylvania finally under custody.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour with me, Deepika. Well, US and Jordan dropped more aid into Gaza in a joint humanitarian aid operation. Bundles of Jordanian food supplies were among the items dropped during the operation. The United States began aid airdrops on the 2nd of March and is planning a US military sea lift of assistance from the island of Cyprus. Now, a second aid ship loaded with food and other supplies for Gaza was ready to sail off soon after the first vessel successfully delivered humanitarian resources. The second ship, with 240 tons of aid, was moored at Larnaca port awaiting a signal to sail. US-based charity World Central Kitchen, that arranged the mission with the UAE, and Spanish charity Open Arms, with support from Cypriot government, said the new shipment included pallets of canned goods and bulk products. WCK said the second boat also had 2 forklifts and a crane to assist with future maritime deliveries. A cruise ship would accompany the cargo boat with 8 workers to operate the machinery and also offload the aid. Almost 200 tons of food arrived in the enclave late on Friday, which is the first shipment in a new aid route to the Gaza. In the first mission, the charity offloaded aid into a makeshift jetty WCK built from the rubble of destroyed buildings. Meanwhile, a World Central Kitchen staff member posted a video showing the last pallets of aid being uploaded off the first Gaza aid supply ship early Sunday morning. 200 tons of food was delivered in northern Gaza on Friday night as humanitarian aid.
All right, there it is, the last 2 pallets of food getting loaded onto the last truck. Behind me, off of the barge, is the Open Arms boat back there. 200 tons of food delivered here in northern Gaza. It's going to go up to Gaza City.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz urged Israel to allow humanitarian aid access to Gaza on a larger scale. On his 2-day trip to the Middle East, Scholz to meet Jordan's King Abdullah and also to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. German Chancellor Scholz stressed on the need for aid to reach Gaza and also said that Air Force dropped pallets with 4 tons of relief goods by air into the enclave on Saturday.
Fest an der Seite Israels bei der Verteidigung des eigenen.
We are standing firmly by Israel's side in defense of its own country, and Israel has every right to defend itself against the Hamas attack. At the same time, it is important that the rules of international law are respected. It is about ensuring that civilian casualties are avoided, that humanitarian aid reaches Gaza, and that a long-term solution is found. I will do all of this intensively during this visit, and that is why it is necessary now, precisely at this point in time.
Humanitäre Hilfe nach Gaza möglich zu machen.
Thousands of Israelis rallied in Tel Aviv on Saturday, calling for the government to make a deal with terrorist group Hamas to secure their release. The crowd gathered at Tel Aviv's Hostage Square with speakers including the French and German ambassadors to Israel. The rally ended with organizers calling on participants to march to military and defense ministry headquarters after Defense Minister Yoav Gallant announced that he had convened a meeting with top defense officials to discuss efforts to return the hostages. 26-year-old Andre Gordon, the man who's been accused of killing 3 people in Falls Township in Pennsylvania Saturday morning, is in custody. After evading law enforcement for hours as police mobilized across 2 states, shutting down a parade and an amusement park and ordering some residents to stay in their homes. Police officers say the suspect will remain in custody in New Jersey before being extradited to Pennsylvania. And now in DD India News Hour, let's quickly take a look at other stories making news around the world. A forest fire in southwest China's Sichuan province continued to spread on Sunday morning due to sudden increases in wind speed. A level 4 emergency response has been activated due to forest fire. However, no casualties have been reported and around 4,000 people have been relocated so far. Sandy and dusty weather hit the Yuan city of North China's Shaanxi province on Saturday, reducing visibility and causing poor air quality. The city's weather authorities have issued a blue alert on the region, forecasting sandy and dusty weather to persist for a few days. Meanwhile, Shaanxi's Weather Observatory Department predicted strong wind and cold weather after the dusty scenario. Spewing smoke and bright orange lava into the air in sharp contrast against the dark night, visuals of a volcano that erupted in Iceland on Saturday for the 4th time since December are surfacing. Authorities had warned for weeks that an eruption was imminent in the Regents Peninsula, but south of island's Regents as well. Protesters marched on London's Downing Street on Saturday, forming the largest demonstration amid a nationwide event and called it Stand Up to Racism. Demonstrators came in thousands with groups from all across the country calling for an end to racism, racist violence and extremism in all its form. And now let's quickly take a look at other stories making news around the country. Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh's Akhil Bharatiya Pratinidhi Sabha on Sunday re-elected Dattaraya Hosabale as its Sarkaryava or General Secretary after its annual meeting held in Nagpur. Hosabale has been re-elected for a 3-year term this time. Economic offences wing in the Indian state of Chhattisgarh has registered a case against former Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel and others in the alleged Mahadev online betting scam based on a probe report submitted by Enforcement Directorate, the officials confirmed on Sunday. India's counter-terrorism law enforcement agency, the National Investigation Agency, has attached 4 properties in Pune's Kondwa in connection with ISIS terror module case on grounds of being proceeds of terrorism. Nigerian officials say the nation's armed forces have killed over 200 terrorists in the last week. About 280 other people have been arrested, suspected of other crimes, including the theft of crude oil. DD India correspondent Tessa Makande reports from Horse. Take a look.
Nigeria's Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said in a statement that the arrests were part of several ongoing military operations across the country. Among those arrested are suspected oil thieves, while 26 kidnapped hostages were rescued from their abductors. The authorities note that over 400 suspected insurgents and their families have surrendered to troops. Nigeria has been battling terror attacks and other forms of criminality, such as kidnapping for ransom and crude oil theft for years. According to the United Nations, the terror attacks have led to the deaths of over 35,000 people and displacement of over 2 million others. Last year, the House of Representatives said the country lost over $10 billion to crude theft in 11 years. The defense authorities have vowed to sustain the offensive against enemies of the state. Tassim Akende in Jos, reporting for DD India.
Drought leaves 18,000 people without water in Brazil's Mucugé. Extreme drought in western Brazil pushes family farmers to shift to different areas as prolonged dry spell wreaks havoc. disrupting the natural habitat of the region, causing an environmental emergency with food and water shortage. Instability in the water supply service was also caused by drought in Roraima rivers. A large area of eastern Argentina soars underwater after heavy rains caused flooding. The weather authorities of Argentina have issued a yellow alert with possibility of heavy rains battering the region. Streets of eastern Argentina gets completely submerged, with locals wading through thigh-high water and cars being stranded. Floodwaters also invaded homes of residents, damaging their household appliances and furniture as well. At least 3 people were killed and dozens injured after severe weather and tornadoes swept across parts of Ohio and Indiana overnight on Friday. The toll is expected to rise as authorities begin to investigate the scope of the damage. Responders were checking for victims. The search was initially hampered by downed power lines, gas leaks, and a mass destruction. Ohio residents clean up after 1 or more deadly tornadoes. In a harmonious blend of tradition and wellness, the iconic Independence Square in Colombo played host to a transformative workshop on 5-element breathwork, yoga and meditation. Over 200 people participated in the event. Among them were the members of police force, defense personnel and seasoned yoga practitioners, all united in their pursuit of inner peace and holistic well-being. Through invigorating sessions and mindful practices, attendees delved into the depths of self-awareness and spiritual growth. As gangs increasingly control the capital, Haiti is struggling to resolve a long-running political and humanitarian crisis. The UN Children Agency, UNICEF, said on Saturday that one of its 17 containers had been looted at the Port-au-Prince port. The container was stocked with essential items for maternal, neonatal and child survival. UNICEF has warned that crisis in Haiti is causing record hunger and life-threatening malnutrition in parts of the capital. Heavily armed gangs have taken over much of the city, and rights groups have also reported widespread killings, kidnappings and sexual violence. Shortages of electricity, fuel and medical supplies have affected hospitals nationwide, with 6 out of 10 facilities not being able to function. We are moving for a short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. The United States threatens to reimpose oil sanctions on Venezuela. Royal Challengers Bangalore enter Women's League Premier Grand Finale, all set to take on Delhi Capitals today. And Medvedev all set to face Carlos Alcaraz in Indian Wells Super Final.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future, because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India News Hour with me, Deepika. On to the United States. The United States has threatened to reimpose oil sanctions on Venezuela, raising fears among local business owners. The growth forecast for 2024 has now dropped, reflecting the impact sanctions would have on the Venezuelan economy. DD's Latin American correspondent Mary Trini Mina has more details.
Importing spare parts for his mechanic workshop has been difficult for Miguel Contreras, who has been struggling to find suppliers abroad. The Venezuelan entrepreneur opened his business 10 years ago, a decade in which the country experienced sustained economic decline, inflation, devaluation, government controls, and more recently, U.S. sanctions. The prolonged economic crisis hit Venezuelans' purchasing power. the return of sanctions could worsen a situation already in free fall.
If a person's vehicle is damaged and they don't have the purchasing power to repair it again, that hurts me a lot.
Even though sanctions are meant to exclusively target the gas and oil industry, they have impacted other sectors, often because of the challenges of doing business with a Venezuelan company.
The private non-oil economy has been affected by sanctions, mostly due to over-compliance in the financial sector. Banks have to walk like they're in a minefield.
Oil and gas sanctions against Venezuela were imposed in 2019, but then eased in 2023 by the Biden administration as a result of a political agreement to reach free and fair elections. According to the White House, Venezuela has violated the agreement by banning presidential opposition candidates from running for office and will reimpose those sanctions if bans are not lifted by April.
Economic experts had predicted nearly 10% growth in the Venezuelan economy for 2024. But if sanctions return, growth could be reduced to less than half.
Instability and fear have already driven foreign investment away from the country. Supermarket owner Rodolfo Tavares says managing a business in Venezuela is tough amid uncertainty.
It's not so easy to stay active in a market that has so many ups and downs, so many difficulties from an economic and social point of view.
Reinstating sanctions would hit the country's main source of revenue, the oil industry. The only American oil company still working in Venezuela, Chevron, would also not increase production, as it had been authorized to do last year.
There have been 100,000 more barrels produced this year compared to last year. Those are in fact 100,000 that Chevron has contributed, and it's very important to maintain them because we need to think not just about this year, but the years to come.
While forecasts seems to be discouraging, business owners in Venezuela carry on. They can't control actions on the political area, but they are doing what they can to push the local economy to move forward. Maritrini Mena in Caracas, reporting for DD India.
And now in DD India News Hour, let's get to sporting action. Well, the much-awaited title match of the Women's Premier League 2024 season will be played between Delhi Capitals and Royal Challengers Bangalore at New Delhi's Arun Jaitley Stadium today. Here's a report that tells you all about both the teams. Take a look.
Unlimited action across two cities, multiple nail-biting affairs and craziness all around, the 4 weeks of Women's Premier League 2024 was no short of entertainment. The stage is set at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi for the final clash between Meg Lanning's Delhi Capitals and Smriti Mandhana-led Royal Challengers Bangalore. Both teams will battle against each other on Sunday night as the Queendom of Cricket will be ruled by a new champion. It could have been a repeat of last year's final with Delhi Capitals once again taking on Mumbai Indians, but Smriti Mandhana-led Royal Challengers Bangalore pulled off a heist and snatched victory from the jaws of defeat in the eliminator against Mumbai Indians on Friday, reaching the Women's Premier League finals for the first time. Meanwhile, Delhi Capitals has been successful in reaching the finals for the second consecutive year. In this season, Delhi Capitals has won both their meetings against RCB so far. In the first fixture, Lanning and Shefali powered Delhi Capitals to 223-2. Meanwhile, the highest total for RCB versus DC was 180-7. The journey for Delhi Capitals has been fantastic in this tournament. It is expected that Delhi will learn from its past mistakes and perform strongly in the finals. Whoever lifts the 2024 Women Premier League trophy will end the long-awaited title drought for both franchises. Sports Desk, DD India.
St. Patrick's Day is celebrated in Ireland on the 17th of March. The day also brings much fun and cheer to Chicago. Massive crowds visit Chicago to celebrate St. Paddy's Day. The Chicago River was dyed emerald on Saturday ahead of the 69th annual St. Patrick's Day parade. People line the streets to get a glimpse of the iconic dyeing of the Chicago River.
St. Patrick's Day, which falls on March 17th, is special for the Irish when they celebrate the death of St. Patrick. The Irish holidays bring a weekend of revelry to Chicago too. It is much more fun day in Chicago with the Windy City's river gleaming in a vibrant shade of emerald.
This is the Linders family. We're from Dublin. We came especially to see the river turn green. We don't do that in Ireland. So we had to come. It was on our bucket list.
The festive occasion draws thousands of spectators from across the globe who watch in delight as the Chicago River transforms into a luminous green canvas.
It's amazing. Like, this was a bucket list. We come down to Chicago multiple times a year and have never made it down for St. Patty's Day. So this is something I've wanted to do since I first saw it probably 20 years ago.
The tradition dates back to 1962 and is now in its 69th year. To mark the occasion, the Chicago Plumbers Union infused the river with 50 pounds of green dye, covering a quarter-mile stretch with a vivid algae-like color. Fuzail Ahmed's report for TD India.
Russian fourth seed Daniil Medvedev rallied to beat American Tommy Paul by 1-6, 7-6 and 6-2 on Sunday at the ATP WTA 2024 Indian Wells Masters. Medvedev prevailed in 2 hours and 23 minutes to set up a rematch of the 2023 Indian Wells final against Carlos Alcaraz. Meanwhile, Alcaraz, who defeated Medvedev in the 2023 final, beat Australian Open champion Yannick Sinner of Italy by 1-6, 6-3 and 6-2 in other semi-final. Alcaraz earned his 11th straight victory at Indian Wells and ended Sinner's remarkable 19-match winning streak. Medvedev will take on Alcaraz in the Indian Wells super finale tonight. In badminton, Indian shuttler Lakshya Sen lost to Indonesia's former world number 2 Jonathan Christie in men's singles category of All England Open Badminton Championship semi-finals on Saturday. Lakshya bowed out of the championship after a 12-21, 21-10 and 15-21 defeat in 68 minutes. The game entered the deciding game where Christie won it by 21-15. That's now back-to-back semi-final defeat for Lakshya over a fortnight when he played 9 hours and 19 minutes of badminton over 8 matches. The championship will also see an all-Indonesia men's final on Sunday after Jonathan Christie beat Lakshya Sen to join Anthony Ginting, who beat Francis Christio Popova in the title clash. Ireland held firm to beat Scotland by 17-13 in a tight match at the Viva Stadium on Saturday in rugby and clinched back-to-back Six-Nation titles for the second time in 11 years. After England denied them a bid for successive Grand Slams last week, a sluggish Ireland looked at risk of relinquishing their grip on the title and giving the English something to play for in Paris after eking out an unconvincing 7-6 half-time lead. The victory kept Ireland too far ahead of second-placed England, who play France in the final game of the championship later on Saturday. Scotland finished with 2 victories and 3 losses. A joint effort between Hong Kong's non-governmental organization and archaeological experts from Turkey and Georgia discovered some new evidence to unveil the ancient mystery. A flood of ancient treasures is now available for public view after 20 years of exploration in Turkey's Mount Ararat. While the experts said it's too early to determine if the site can be proven to be the Ark, the researchers are all set to still continue the excavations. The Designer India 2024 commenced in New Delhi on Sunday, serving as a platform for designers and consumers. With meticulous planning spanning nearly 2 years, the event is anticipated to yield a revenue surpassing $60 million. The pivotal contribution of India's Ministry of Textiles has been instrumental in ensuring the triumph of this initiative. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika Mehta, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.